So you want to turn a standard form equation to a general form, right? So this is how a standard form equation looks like. Okay, so if they gave us a question and they gave us that the center coordinate of a circle is 2, -3, and the radius is 4, we need to fill in this information into the standard form equation. So a center coordinate in a standard equation would actually be h, k. So the x would be the h and the y would be the k. So you would put the x coordinate with the x right here, but you would just put it in the h's place of the standard form equation. Okay, so you put the 2 in h's place, and you would put the -3 in k's place. Okay, just make sure that because of the negative k in the equation, that for example, if k is actually negative, that make sure that y -3, the answer would be +3. Just make sure that you don't let that trick you when there is a negative in the actual coordinate. Okay, instead of writing y -3. And then the next step would be to do the radius. And the radius here is r equals 4, but in the standard form it says r squared. So we need to square the r, which is 4. 4 squared is 16. So that's our standard form done. Our general form equation, this is how it looks like. And if you take a good look at it, obviously there are no brackets like the standard form equation. So our first step to change a standard form equation into a general form equation is, it's pretty simple, to expand it, to get rid of the brackets. Okay? So if this is our equation right here, to get rid of the brackets, we're going to have to get rid of each one separately. You have to expand this part, this one right here, and then we have to expand this one right here. But we're going to take it one step at a time. So, how do we expand something like this? Does this look familiar to you guys? Yeah? Well, if it doesn't, I'm just going to quickly explain it. That when we say this squared, we actually mean this, right? Because we're multiplying it by itself. So a times a is a squared, and then a times b is ab, okay? And then b times b is b squared, right? And then b times a is another ab. So we get 2ab, right? Okay, so that's why you have -2ab, and because there's the negative sign here, that's why it ends up being -2ab. Okay? So yeah, this right here is exactly the same thing as this, but just the terms are different. The x is like the a and the 2 is like the b. Okay? So we just have to do the same thing of what we did there. Well, we just need to know the pattern. It's pretty easy. Okay, so x is x squared, just like a squared. And then the next step is this, -2ab. How did they get that? Okay, they put the two terms together, a and b, they put them together and they multiplied them together. So it's ab now. And then they multiplied ab by 2, because there's 2 right here. Okay, they multiplied the ab by 2, and then they took whatever the sign is in the middle in between the terms, they put the sign here, which is negative in this case. That's how you get this middle part of the expanded equation. And then the next step would be to square the b. So b squared, there you go. That's the second part here. So what we'd have to do here after x squared is we take the two terms, 2 and x, would multiply them together, which is 2x, and then would multiply the two terms by 2. So 2 times 2x, and then we'd have to get the sign in between the terms, which is negative. We'd put it right here. Okay? And then the next step, like the b squared, we would have to take the 2 squared. We'd have to square the 2. So now it's 4. So right here, this is how our first set of brackets is going to look like after we expand it. This is how this, the negative 4x, is how the 2x times 2 times negative ends up looking like. Okay? So now we need to move on and do the same thing to this set of brackets. Okay? So y plus 3 squared is, first thing, y squared, just like the x squared, right? Okay, and then the next part, the middle part, remember the middle part? You take the two terms, multiply them together, which is 3y, okay? And then you multiply the two terms by 2. So 3y times 2 is 6y. And then, what do we put, a plus or a negative? We put a plus, because right here, it's a plus, not a negative. And then, what would we have to do? Just like the b squared, we would have to square the 3. So we square the 3, we get a 9. There you go. Now we have our two terms that are expanded, and we'd have to just put them together because here it says this set of brackets plus this set of brackets. So we just have to add them together. We put them right there, right beside each other, and then we put the 16 because we didn't do anything to the 16 right there. So that's our first step. First step is done. Second step is really easy, seriously easy, okay? So this is how we would just have to arrange what we have into a general form, like the way it's ordered. So this is how the general form is ordered, and this is what we have, okay? So you have to make this look like that. We just put it in the order that it's in. Okay, first thing, x squared. There we go, we got x squared right there. Second thing is y squared. We take the y squared, we put it right there. There we go. And then we put the x term. The x term. Where is our x term? Oh, there's our x term right there. Negative 4x. We put the negative 4x. And then what's next? by, which is our y term. So we look for our y term. There we go. There's our y term. We put it right there. And then here, plus c. Plus c means any number that is not connected to a y or an x or a z or I don't know what. Okay, so we look for our numbers. Oh, there you go. There's a number, and then there's another number, and then there's another number. But here it says equals 0, so we don't want anything on the right side. Okay, we don't want anything here. So we would have to put, just like the plus c is at the end. We put all the numbers at the end, plus 4, plus 9, and then we'd move the 16. We'd move it over there by doing the opposite of what it is. If this is plus 16, to remove it, we have to do the opposite on both sides, which is negative 16. There you go. So we have everything done right here, but then we just have to make this into one number. So 4 plus 9 subtract 16 equals negative 3. So our answer would be this and negative 3. There you go. X blah 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 negative 3 equals 0. And we're done. This is how you do it. Thank you very much.